Right guys, so Maths Watch guidance, and if you've done all the activities I've asked for and you can apply your knowledge, this will be quite easy for you. Now, what is the equation of line A? Well, every point on this line, the y coordinate is 4, so that line must be y equals 4. Now once you've got that correct, this one is easy. Every x coordinate is 8 on this, doesn't matter what the y coordinate is, so that's x equals 8. Nice easy marks for you guys, if it appears. Right, y equals 3x minus 1. So we just do y equals, I'm going to use the 3 first. So that's y equals 3 times 3 minus 1. That's y equals 9 minus 1, which is 8. That becomes 8. Normally just do one more. Y equals 3 times 1 minus 1. So that's 3 minus 1, that's 2. Look at the pattern. That's going plus 3 each way. So you know that's got to be minus 3. This only works for straight line graphs, guys. So that's minus 1, minus 7. That saves you making substitution errors. That will normally get you 2 marks, that table. So next step is to plot 3, 8, 2, 5. This is worth a mark to do that. 1, 2. 0 minus 1. And if you have a ruler, you can just practically draw a straight line straight away. But it's good practice just to do all the points, because then you've got a perfect guide for your ruler. And this is the best straight line I can do on this computer. Right, now this is important. It says use the graph. Use the graph. So you must use the graph to get this answer correct. Common misconception or mistake people make is they use some really good thinking skills and think, oh, I know x equals 2.5. I'm going to sub that into the equation. So I'm going to do 3 times 2.5. This equation here, because that's where x is. Then minus 1. So I know 3 times 2.5 is 7.5. Minus the 1. Y equals 6.5. That is the correct answer, but you'll get 0 marks. Why? Because you didn't use the graph. It says use the graph to estimate, so you've got to use the graph when x equals 2.5. So where is x equals 2.5? It's here, in between the 2 and 3. So having your good lines and knowledge, you should do this as a dotted line. That's more professional examiners will like it. And that's there. Let's go across. Right, halfway is 7. Can you see this is about halfway between 6 and 7? So then you get the answer y will equal 6.5 there. Now what is, choose equation that is parallel. Right, I was just finding out where the pen was. And so what does parallel mean? Parallel lines are sometimes displayed like this, if you remember, by 2 arrows, and they are just like train tracks or roads. The lines never meet and they're always exactly the same distance apart. So first step is that's parallel to the y-axis. Well, this is the y-axis, right? So it's parallel to this line here. So let's try one of these. Let's try y equals 2. Now y equals 2, we know it's this from the exercise before. I'm just doing dotted lines here. Well, that's not parallel, is it? X equals y, well, that means when x and y are the same, so that's 1, 1 here, 2, 2 here, 3, 3 here. I could stop there because, well, that's not parallel to the y, right? X plus y equals 0. It's still, I'm going through this in detail because it will help you with, that you could get asked to draw a graph like that, and I don't want you to be confused. So if x equals 1 here, y has to be minus 1 to make that all 0. So that means x1, y minus 1. If x equals 2, y's got to be minus 2. X equals 3, y equals minus 3. This is explained in my last video. And that's definitely not going to be parallel. And I've left the best till last, x equals minus 2 for this reason. So x equals minus 2 is going to be this line. Hope you can see the purple. Yeah, it's this line. And, well, then that's obvious. The answer is this, because that is parallel. Right. 6 minus 2x, this is just substitution. You've got to think, if you're not good at negative numbers, start with the easiest number to substitute and then follow the pattern. So 6 y equals 6 minus 2 times 0. Well, that bit becomes 0, so y equals 6. Now go for your mental skills. Y equals 6 minus 2 times 1. Well, that's going to be minus 2. So what's 6 minus 2? 4. And because it's a linear graph, I can see this pattern. It's going minus 2 each way. That's going to be 2, 0, minus 2. Plot that and solve. Plot that and draw a straight line. That will get you marks. Now this time it says solve. So you should just solve it using your normal skills. So you could use your rearranging skills to do this, or do this mentally. So 6 minus something to equal 3. So that means 2x needs to equal 3. So x equals 1.5. 2 times 1.5 equals 3. If you want to solve it and be a bit professional and have good habits, I would probably do this. Plus 2x on both sides. Because I like to deal with positive amounts of x, you get confused with negative numbers, so this is a bit safer. So x equals 3 plus 2x minus 3 minus 3. 3 equals 2x. So divided by 2 both sides. So x on its own is going to equal 1.5. Same answer. Right. Now, this skill, this question just presented differently, but it's actually very easy. Complete the coordinates of P and Q. So when you substitute in tables, what does this tell us here? This tells us the x coordinate here is 0, and the y coordinate here is 0, because that's xy, xy. So all we need to do is substitute x equals 0 into this. So 4 times 0 is 0, right? So 2y is going to equal 8, and you should be able to do that mentally. So y equals 4 here. Now this time y is 0. Well, 2 times 0 is 0. So 4 times what is going to give us the 8? That's going to be 2. Plot those coordinates down. 0, 4. That's P. 2, 0. That's Y. And that's going to get you marks. Now draw the lines for values of x from minus 2 to 3. Well, just use your substitution skills. You can rearrange this to a form that you like, so it's familiar to you. So I'm going to minus 4x from both sides, because lines are normally in the form of y equals mx plus c. So we're going to get 2y equals 8 minus 4x. Divide by 2. So you're dividing everything by 2 on both sides. So you're going to get y equals 4 minus 2x. If you want, you can draw a table of values. Minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's x, that's y. Let's start with the 0, because that's easiest. So 4 minus 2 times 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 4 minus 0, so that's going to be 4 here. Let x equals 1, so you're going to get y equals 4 minus 2 times 1. So that's 4 minus 2. Y equals 2. It is a linear graph, and you can see it's minusing 2. So that pattern is going to be continue 0 minus 2. That's got to be plus 2 this way. This is safer for linear graphs because you can make mistakes with substitution, and this guarantees you get that. So you just mark those coordinates in. And draw a straight line. With the MathsWatch ruler, or with a ruler if this is an exam, and then you're done. Well done, guys. So that's why you need to get a good understanding of the maths and really try to make the connections, because that's how you're going to get a top grade. If you just learn a method or a quick skill and you can only answer one type of questions, you're going to struggle when you get questions presented in a different format, and that's the challenge of the new maths curriculum. But really well done if you could do all of this and if you understand this as well.